Porinju joins us now, and he's been personally a good friend, and he's always been very accommodative with our interview request. 15 years ago, when we started interacting with him, well, a lot has changed. A lot has changed for the markets, but nothing has changed for Porinju. His vigor, his excitement, his passion to identify stocks, and his bullishness of India, those things have not changed. So, Porinju, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us on this very special day.
Oh, thank you, Nikunj, and I am very happy. Wish you guys, a wonderful 15th anniversary of ET now. I remember I first appeared on screen on 18 only with a very humble AM, and I was a very small portfolio manager from down south. And I'm very thankful to ET now. Not only that, Nikunj, you are a wonderful anchor who makes the investors in whatever conditions in the market, or it's up or down or too volatile, you make you are very cool, relaxed, and composed, and share the same thing with the listeners and with the guest in the studio. It's an amazing thing, amazing work you have been doing, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Porinju. But like they say on, when it's birthday, that means gifts. And gifts for ET Now means gifts for ET Now viewers. And gifts from Porinju is always is if you give stock ideas and tips. So birthday का tradition तो होता है gift भाई.
Yeah, it's great. I think investors have been very, very blessed and happy in the last many years, especially after the COVID. I used to always use this word lucky to be in this profession, lucky to be in this domain. It's not a small thing. Many people may be getting carried away, with the kind of wealth being created in India as an equity investor. This is something once in a century kind of thing happening. And when we feel this is likely to continue for next 5, 10, 20 years, that's more exciting, Nikunj. So we all are in a sweet spot, equity market, the investors, the traders, the whole country, this economy. Of course, there are challenges. So somebody was talking the other day, what are the challenges today? I think rural stress, this is something could be the focus of the new government, the new ministries, and, so this is relevant to the equity investors also. I think agriculture is something nobody has been talking for quite a while. Nikunj, if you remember earlier, whenever the budget comes, people used to talk about agricultural and rural stocks, irrigation stocks, and input stocks. I feel next 5 years is going to be a very important time for the agriculture in India. With respect to the rural stress we are going through, it's a huge challenge out there. And, after the 10 years of these reforms, and people complain about the gap between the haves and have-nots have widened. It's true. So that is how, initial part of any large reform period starts. So we have gone through that. Prime Minister Modi's vision and the government's efforts have created a wonderful platform to grow much bigger. So here, one of the thing, I noticed is Sri Shivraj Singh Chauhan became the agriculture minister. This is a very important development for India, I believe. I think he's a 2-time chief minister of MP. And if you notice, not much talked about, he has transformed the agriculture in Madhya Pradesh. Earlier, we used to have Punjab and Maharashtra still leading in agriculture. But he has done a wonderful job, execution, and he has really delivered with work ethics and administration in MP. So now he becoming the agriculture minister, cabinet minister. I feel investors should watch agriculture as a space, starting with inputs, the agrochemicals or seeds, the irrigation, to whatever in that field. There may be not many companies to really talk about, but there are companies I have been last week going through some of those stocks. Maybe not worth mentioning any individual names. Mostly they are small companies, but some of them have potential to become very large companies. So I feel agriculture and rural stocks, if you can classify stocks like that, I'm not sure. It's an area, it's a domain investors should really look for.
Defense and railways have done in terms of wealth creation in last 5 years. Can rural and agriculture stocks do the same in next 5 years?
Maybe to not to that extent, Nikunj. We don't find too many of such classy good companies in that field, but they will emerge. Some of these small companies today can emerge and become bigger and bigger. Of course, the railways and defense, the story may continue. Uh, I'm not talking about the stock price perspective. Sometimes I really feel, as a not a real expert, but I really feel some of those stocks are a bit hyped in the defense and railways. But it's very difficult to confirm that, because the growth we are envisaging in these sectors are like never before. This is something totally out of the box, and which can continue 5-10 years. India is aspiring to be a global supplier, a big global player in defense. So, but when it comes to stocks, I don't know, to be frank, at these levels. I used to feel, some of those stocks may give a sharp correction, but they are still moving on and going to the new highs. So, but this is an ignored sector, agriculture, and we have a wonderful minister taking charge with execution capabilities and with the proven track record of administration. There are many, many companies. I'm telling you, I was going through something like 15, 20, but mostly small companies, and some of them could be mid caps. So let us start exploring that field. It's maybe not comparable like railway stocks or defense stocks, but I feel there are multi-baggers which can go by 5 and 10 times in the next 5 to 10 years time.
Love to pin you down and have you tell us some of those as well. But Porinju, won't be putting you in a spot. Would instead like to know what the view is when it comes to the entire defensives bet. And I'm talking about the traditional FMCG, pharmaceuticals, while what may be working in his favor is perhaps policy continuity. What isn't is the fact that valuations continue to remain on the expensive side. Will this continue to remain a lingering concern, and what's the way forward?
Yeah, the valuation is, I feel it's okay. Valuation, India in general is richly valued. There is no doubt about it. It is richly valued, but reasonably valued when we look at the future of Indian economy and the kind of opportunities emerging for these companies to, create wealth for the shareholders. So there can be time, some of these highly priced, where you feel it's too hot a stock. There is a possibility the stock may not go up further for 2-3 years. It can stay stagnant. That is the risk I'm seeing for investors. If they call it a risk, it can start the rally further after achieving that kind of numbers. So India is definitely richly valued, but it is also, I still believe, it's a paradise for picking stocks, for cherry picking stocks across, small, mid cap, or even large caps. I feel it still continues to be a heaven for reasonably compounding your wealth.
So let me be specific here. Some of the standout gainers in your portfolio in last couple of years, one is Raymond, the second is Tata Consumer, the third is Tata Com. Now in markets you make money not by discussing history but trying to predict the future. Now Raymond, Tata Com, Tata Consumer have been great winners for you. What we want to understand is that hypothetically, if this was ET Now's 20th anniversary, what do you think we are likely to be discussing? Today we are discussing Raymond's and Tata Com. On a 20th anniversary, what do you think we are likely to discuss?
Wow. I would put my bet on Tata Communications. We have been on this stock for last 7-8 years, and this is one of our largest holding. And Nikunj, if you remember, exactly 5 years ago, there was a survey kind of thing, 10 market men talking about 10 stocks for the next 10 years, for the 18 now 10th anniversary. So I'm very proud to say my stock was Tata Consumer, and today it's up by 355%. So that was something very good. I feel so good. I'm not holding the stock as on today. And I think for the next 5 years, a similar stock from Tata Group, I mean, a very different industry. They are investing in the futuristic verticals, of which the numbers are yet to come. So I strongly feel if you are very keen to talk about a stock, Tata Communication is the stock for the next 5 years. It's one of our largest holding. I want to repeat that as a disclosure. Raymond, we partly had book profit, but we continue to hold on. One of the best wealth creators in our portfolio management in the history. From 300 to something like, it's a fantastic 2,500 rupees. I'm very happy about it. Understanding whatever perception challenges about the management, but you cannot get a perfect stock where everything is right. If you get a perfect stock, then the valuation is not right for me, at least. So I always, try to compromise on certain curable negatives. So that's our style, my personal style, all the while. I would say 34 years.
And some of those names have really worked wonders for you, Porinju. Give us a sense as to how you're looking at some of the other niche areas. What are some of the interesting plays that may not be so widely discussed or not talked about that much? Say, looking at prop tech or maybe slightly new age tech, specialized businesses leveraging technology. Are there any areas that you've identified or look at closely?
I'm a bottom-up approach investor. I don't look things as a segment. We are always open to ideas, whichever segment they are from. Of course, after when we find a deep value in a company, in particular individual company, then we look at the other aspects. It's industry that was operating in, the future of that industry, the execution capability of that company in particular. In the given industry where India can grow very big. So it's individual stock pickers market. Let it be like that. And I think time is going to be very good for investing. It will continue to be.
Okay, good to know. That's the overall outlook. And give us a sense as well as to how you're looking at, things from sort of the way ahead. What's going to be the new trigger? We do have that political stability that did come about in the elections, policy continuity. But what do you believe is going to be the next big trigger, upside or downside for our markets?
Market will be steady to better going forward. There can be corrections, which nobody can predict. And if you remember that kind of extreme volatility, the previous day of the election results, the way market tanked, and the way market went up, expecting a majority win or whatever, large majority win for the current regime. See, basically it was showing the fear factor among investors, whether an irresponsible dole government may be formed at the center. That was the fear. So I think we are out of that fear. Then it's a coalition government, but I think very good. Now Chandrababu Naidu, if you remember, is one of the earliest, one of the first reformists in India. The way he created Hyderabad and high-tech city, and that he also is in tune with Prime Minister Modi. He has got a longer vision, larger vision, and he thinks big for the state or for the country. So that is what we need from administrators, from the governments. Because we are talking about 18% of the world population live in India. We need really, really large vision, scalable, huge reforms, and so we are well fit in that the overall scheme. There is we are talking about 2047 kind of much longer vision, and how much we can achieve is a different thing. Whether we can be $20 trillion or $30 trillion, we don't know. But what is wrong in aiming high, highest possible? Let's dream big so that we will achieve at least 50%, 60% of that. That's good enough. That's good enough, and that is very much required for uplifting the poor people in this country, or removing or reducing the poverty in this country. I would say 75-80% of Indians are not having a comfortable standard of living. And if you can call poverty, it's very huge. So we have completed this 10 years of that massive scale up of the economy and the markets. So a wonderful platform is already created. Now, how can we build on this and focus on agriculture, rural stress, and how can we feed 1,400 million people? That's our biggest. Not only just feed them. That was the old theme. Now we have to empower them to grow much bigger and to live comfortably with a comfortable standard of living. So that is our vision, and everybody is working towards that. So this politics and governments may change, but this theme cannot change now. Everybody is getting more and more aware about this requirement, and all are getting responsible. So I think investors need not worry about a dollar-based economy, a irresponsible kind of a government coming in. I think it is almost impossible. Even if it happens by accident, it will not last more than 6 months.
Porinju, appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us on this very special day that we're celebrating right here at ET Now. Always good interacting with you over the years, and of course look forward to many more interesting interactions.
Thank you.
All right, those are some key takeaways coming in from Porinju Veliyath, talking about how agri as a sector will do well. All right, it's the pre-open rates that are flashing on your screen.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.